All right, thanks, guys. Welcome to the morning line. Let's get into some three-outers, some suck-outs, some bad beats from yesterday in the world of American sports betting. Let's start off with LA at Miami. Total was 7.5 or 8, depending on where you're shopping at. LA comes out with 4 runs in the third, 3 runs in the fourth. They're up 7-0 going into the bottom of the fourth. Final score in this one, 7-0. Not one more run was scored in that ball game. If you had the over in that one, you're thinking this is a done deal by the fourth inning. Nope, 7-0 at the end of 4. Totals at 7.5. Final score 7-0. LA stays under the total. Next bad beat. That is going to be San Diego at Pittsburgh. Total opened 8.5. Bet down to 7.5 and 8 in most markets. Certainly the general consensus play on the under in this one. And if you had the under in this one, you were basically dead in the water after 5, as this one was tied up 4-4. And just as an insult to injury, Pittsburgh takes the lead when Christian Villanueva comes in to pinch hit and then takes third base and boots a routine ground ball for the go-ahead run. So if you had the under, you were basically fried. Total in this one, 5-4 Pittsburgh, taking this one over the 8 flat. Next game, Baltimore at Boston. Wow, this one opened up at 8.5. The total opened up at 8.5 in some shops. Boston opens up with 2 runs in the first, another 4 runs in the fifth, and if you had the over in this one, you're sitting pretty at 6-0 after 5. 6th inning comes, no score. 7th comes, no scoring. 8th inning, no scoring. And then finally, top of the ninth, the Orioles make a late run. David Price still dealing for the Bo Sox, looking to complete a complete game shutout. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, and Manny Machado with the moonshot over the Green Monster to make it 6-2. Still some hope for the over. Nope, they keep Price in. He gets the final out. Final score 6-2. Bo Sox keeping this one under the total of 8.5. All right, next game. Phillies at the Cards. Totals at 8 flat. 1-0 game going into the 8th. Then the Phils explode for 3 in the top of the 8th. Cards get 2 more back in the bottom. And now we have ourselves a 4-2 game going into the top of the 9th. No need to worry, right? Not if Pedro Florimon has anything to do with it. Florimon for the Phils with the 2-run shot in the top of the 9th. Just for some added insurance. Pushes the total. Final score in this one, 6-2 for a nice push for the underbettors, which had a virtual lock on their hands for 7 complete innings. Next game, Texas White Sox. Rangers are $1.35 on the money line. 1-0 Rangers after 7. 2-0 Rangers after the top of the 8th, adding on a little insurance. That's until bottom 8, 2 outs, 2-2 count, man on third. Just a weak tapper to the mound to get out of the inning. And the relief pitcher throws it in the right field. Inning stays alive. White Sox cut the lead in half to 2-1. Then the Rangers put another guy on. We got first and second, 2 outs, 2-1 Rangers, and a full count. And the pitcher throws a heater right down the middle for a ball. Even the Homer announcer said it was a strike. So now we have bases juice, bad call by the ump, 2 outs, and another full count. And that's when Leclerc walks another one. Walks in the game-tying run to make it 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Not a good night for Mr. DeClerc. Next batter hits a little duck fart to right center. Delino DeShields dives and misses. And there you have the 4-run bottom of the 8th for the Sox. Final score in this one, 4-2 White Sox for some plus money. All right, next game. I have more. Plenty of bad beats to go around. Rays at the Angels. Totals at 7.5. Rays up 1-0 after 6. Under's looking pretty safe. Rays tack on another 4 more in the 7th. 5-0 after 7. Cutting it a little bit close. Tampa then proceeds to tack on another deuce in the 8th, making it 7-0 going into the 9th. And then guess who? Bottom of the 9th, 1 out. Ohtani steps to the plate and rips a frozen rope to center for a pointless solo shot. Well, not pointless for the betting public. Your final in this one, 7-1 Tampa, getting this one over the 7.5. Detroit at Seattle next game. Seattle's $1.65 to win it. heavily favored to get the job done, and get it done they did in the early going. But let's move ahead to the top of the sixth. Seattle's up 2-0 as expected. That's until Detroit has runners at the corners with 2 outs. McCann hits an easy dribbler to third. Looks like the inning's over. Fielded cleanly and then dribbled over to first on the throw by Seger. Tigers close the gap 2-1. Then the top of the eighth comes. Bases juice, 2 outs for Iglesias. Hits one to short off the glove of the shortstop in the center field. And that is your ball game. Detroit gets the job done, catching plus money by the score of 3-2. Next game, another bad beat. Rockies, Giants. San Fran favored to win. Totals at 7.5. This one gets into extras at 3-3. And the Rockies drop a 2 spot in the top of the 12th. Rockies end up getting the job done 5-3, catching the plus money and putting this one over the total. All right, our next bad beat that's in the NHL, Tampa Bay at Washington. Washington was the $1.15 favorites. Total was at 5.5. This one's tied up 2-2 going into the third period. Both bets on Washington and the under still looking safe, still looking pretty good. And that's until the Lightning scores with 8 minutes to go to make it 3-2. No biggie if you have the under. We're still at 5 goals here. We still have a little action on the under. That's until Tampa Bay scores an empty netter with just seconds to go. Your final in this one, 4-2, Tampa for plus money, and the over 5.5 in this one. All right, let's get into today's action. Let me just go ahead and get the screen fired up here. We're going to move that to the MLB. Let me get the laptop out. Completely unprepared. So anyway, that was my Bad Beats segment. New segment I have here for Brock Page Productions. So feel free to let me know what you think in the comments section below. Just give me a sec, guys. All right. Got that fired up. My apologies, guys. Get this going here. All right, let's start in Major League Baseball. The Padres at the Pirates, and that is a 7:05 Eastern start. San Diego at Pittsburgh. All right, let's get into it. Pittsburgh's the $1.27 favorites. This one opened Pittsburgh $1.35. Now bet down to Pittsburgh $1.27. Total opened at 8. Now 7.5. Once again, Pittsburgh opened $1.35. Now 127. Total opened 8. Now 7.5. 59% of the betting public has Pittsburgh in that matchup there. Starting pitching, we got Ross and Ivan Nova. Next game I have for you, it is going to be that one on the screen. LA Dodgers at Washington. Washington is the $2.15 favorites in that matchup. That is a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. We got ourselves Stripling and Scherzer. That should be a good matchup there. It certainly is on paper. Washington opened 226, now 215. Total opened at 7.5. Now bet down to 7 flat. And at the moment, 71% of the betting public is riding with Washington. So once again, Washington opened 226, now 215. Total open 7.5, now down to 7 flat. And just 29% of the public bettors are backing the Dodgers in that one. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be the Oakland A's at the Toronto Blue Jays. That is a 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto opened $1.33, now $1.19. Total open at 10 flat, now 9.5. Currently, Toronto, 56% of the betting public is favoring Toronto. Our starting pitching, we got Anderson and Estrada. Those guys are going head-to-head. So once again, Toronto opened $1.33, now $1.19. Total open 10, now 9.5. And just 44% of the betting public is leaning toward Oakland. Next game I have for you, it is going to be Baltimore at Boston. That is a 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Fenway. Boston open $1.70, now $1.51. Total open 10 flat, now 9 flat. And at the moment, Boston is taking most of that money. 84% of the betting public is backing Boston in that one. We got Cobb and Pomeranz on the bump in that one. Once again, Boston open $1.70, now $1.51. Total open 10, now 9 flat. And just 16% of the betting public is leaning toward Baltimore. Next game. Unbelievable, man. Wow. We're still getting there. We're still learning. Next game. Diamondback Mets. No. That's the one I want. All right, Chicago Cubs at Cincinnati. Yeah. 7:10 first pitch in that one. The Cubbies are the $1.75 favorites. Totals at 9 flat. 75% of the betting public is backing the Cubs. All right, let's go ahead into the line movement. Cubbies open $1.63, now $1.75. Total open at 9.5, now 9 flat. And just 25% of the betting public is backing the Reds. We got Big John Lester for the Cubbies and Homer Bailey for the Reds. What a job. Homer Bailey gets paid to lose. All right, next game. Arizona, New York Mets. 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The Mets opened $1.43, now $1.52, taking a little money there. Total open at 7 flat. It is still 7 flat. Currently, the Diamondbacks are catching most of the current action. 59% of the betting public is backing the Diamondbacks, so look for a little shift on the money line, little buyback. Pitchers, there you go. Godley, DeGrom. There it is. All right, next game. Miami, Atlanta, 7:35 first pitch. Atlanta opened $1.83, now $1.90. Total open at 9.5, now 9 flat. 68% of the betting public is backing the Braves. We've got Straley for the Marlins, Newcomb for the Braves. Next game, Texas, Chicago White Sox, 8:10 first pitch at Guaranteed Rate Field. A little flip of the lines in this one. Chicago open plus 121. They're now laying $1.10. Totals at 9.5. And we're looking around a 50-50 even split of where the public is leaning towards at the moment. So we're probably not going to see a whole lot more movement in that one. Our starting pitchers, Moore for the Rangers, Fulmer for the Sox. Next game, Cleveland, Houston, 8:10 first pitch. That is at Minute Maid Park. Houston opened $1.49. They're now $1.73. Took a lot of early money. Total open 8.5. Now 8 flat. Houston, 52% of the betting public is leaning toward Houston at the moment. We have Clevinger for Cleveland, Morton for the Astros. Next game, Milwaukee, Minnesota, 8:10 first pitch. Minnesota open $1.25. They're now $1.44. Total open at 9.5. Moved down to 9 flat. 53% of the betting public is leaning toward Minnesota. Starting pitchers, Suter for Milwaukee, Gibson for the Twins. Next game, the Yankees at Kansas City. 8:15 first pitch at Kauffman Stadium. The Yankees open $1.65. They're now $1.75. Totals at 9.5. 78% of the betting public is leaning toward the Yankees. We have CC for the Yanks, Junis for the Royals. Next game, Philly, St. Louis. That's 8:15. First pitch at Busch Stadium. St. Louis open $1.25. They're now $1.14. They're getting faded in that one. Totals at 8 flat. 75% of the betting public is leaning toward the Fightins. We have Arrieta for the Fightins, Waka for St. Louis. All right, next game, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles Angels, 10:07 first pitch in the East. And we have the Angels as the $1.41 favorite. Angels open $1.31, now $1.41. Totals at 8 flat. And at the moment, 53% of the betting public is leaning toward the Angels. We have Snell for the Rays, Trompano for the Angels. Next game, Detroit-Seattle. Detroit-Seattle. 10-10 East in Seattle. Seattle open 155. They're now 150. Total open at 8 flat. Now 7.5. Seattle is catching 55% of the public money. Starting pitchers, Fulmer for Detroit, Hernandez for Seattle. Next game, Colorado, San Francisco. Hopefully this is the last one. Yes, it is. 10-15 East. San Fran is not favored. Flip of the lines in this one. Colorado open plus 110. They're now laying a $1.10. Total's at 8.5. And Colorado's taking the majority of the public money at the moment. Freeland for the Rocks. Holland for the Giants. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the bad beats section of the program. We're switching it up a little bit, adding some new content. So best of luck to you guys. Hopefully you have a lot of winning bets, and you can tail my bets or fade me, but whatever it is, I hope you're making money. So regardless, thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a positive day.